This one really took me by surprise. Apparently, Cornell West and Norm Finkelstein had a talk at Or Books, and I've seen Or Books host several talks there. But one part of that conversation, I guess, got a little sticky. And that was whether or not Israelis should be shunned or not. What do you think happens? Let's go ahead and get into it, guys. This is a big one.
There's something revolting about, and as Harvard kept writing, to be inclusive of child killers. I find that just an utterly revolting concept.
But
isn't it?
But we just different kind of brothers.
We
got different kind of temperaments, man. I don't believe in just. Look at it this way. Look at it this way.
Would you The Harvard report had a very curious definition of anti-Semitism, and I'd like to read it to you. We define anti-Semitism as an identity-based bias that has kept Harvard affiliates with Israeli nationality or background from fully participating in Harvard's educational, co-curricular, or social life, which basically means if Jews or Israelis feel left out, then it's a form of anti-Semitism. And a large part of the report is devoted to this phenomenon they call shunning. So to give a couple of examples, I'm quoting, Israeli students reported feeling particularly targeted and ostracized, frequently experiencing social shunning. Accounts of social shunning emerged as one of the most alarming indicators of the breakdown of Harvard's on-campus community. Some Jewish students expressed sadness and frustration at feeling shunned, and so forth. So I'm going to just give some context, and then we can go to the reaction.
And here's the crazy part about all this is, look, Black people have been shunned on and on and on and on and on and on. We got kind of used to being shunned. We've been shunned at school prior to integration and after integration. Still happens today. We've been shunned at the workplace when all the white employees go out to lunch and pretend like the Black employees aren't there. Or when they go out for drinks after work and pretend like the Black employees aren't there. So we've been shunned because we always have to go through certain spaces where we are going to be the minority. If we go to the doctor, 9 times out of 10, we're going to be the minority. The dentist, the doctor, these are just regular appointments that you have through life. Then it's going into the job market, going on to job interviews, etc. Like, so, the whole thing, the case that they're trying to make at Harvard, like, oh God, we feel ostracized. We feel shunned. Well, I'm just reminded of all the shunning that I've experienced, all the shunning that Black people have experienced. Even in independent media, most of the Black commentators, most of us are shunned by other white commentators in independent media. So that's why the whole boo-hoo, cry me a river for these Zionists, that's why it don't work with me. It don't work with me, okay? But that's where we're at now, folks. They're really trying to convince you, not Norm. Norm knows better. But what I'm saying is that the Zionists, the ADL, and all of them, they're really trying to convince you that these Europeans are, oh, it's so tragic what they are going through. Hot mess.
So if you look at the public opinion polls in Israel, Israel is probably the most polled place on God's earth. If you look at the public opinion polls, about 1/2 of Israeli Jews believe that Israel, the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, should commit genocide in Gaza. That's not a exaggeration. The question that was put to Israelis was very concrete and succinct. When the IDF enters a city, should it kill every single person in the city? 47% of Israeli Jews said yes to that question.
Mm-hmm.
Another question was, do you believe there are any innocents in Gaza? Any innocents? It was asked of Israelis across the board, including non-Jewish Israelis. 62% said there are no innocents in Gaza. If you factor away the non-Jewish respondents, it would come to about 70%. If you turn to Gaza now, Israel, for better or for worse, it has a citizen army. That means that army is representative of Israeli society.
Yeah.
That army is carrying out a genocide. Every member of that army, EVERY, every member of that army is complicit in genocide. If it's not, as doctors have attested, if it's not targeting the skulls and chests of children, if it's not bombing the hospitals, bombing the schools, bombing any infrastructure in Gaza, the water and sanitation facilities, then they're involved in the systematic, methodical starvation, verging on famine of the people of Gaza.
Yep.
Now, when students, or I should say, when IDF soldiers come after their stint in the army to Harvard campus, or there are Jews who are publicly defending a real-time genocide broadcast across the social media, the bulk of the report's recommendations are, we must be inclusive. We must be pluralistic. We must embrace everyone. I say no. They should be shunned. They should be ostracized. You ought not to be inclusive of child killers.
Thank you. 100%. 100%. Because here's the thing, and we're going to get to Cornel West's argument here for a second. Here's the thing. Look, I grew up in the church, and I'm pretty sure if my grandma were alive today, she would say, we got to love everybody, right? But it gets to a point where you ain't got to embrace everybody. You know, it's like, even if you are a Christian, that doesn't mean you have to open your arms and embrace everybody. Some people you got to walk away from. Some people you have to avoid. Some people you may not want to sit next to. That's just the reality of the situation, guys. Because the moment you say something, the moment you, I don't know, maybe have a disagreement, next thing you know, their fingers pointing in your face, and they're saying that you're a problem too, that you're being anti-Semitic. This is how far it has gone, ladies and gentlemen. You can't disagree. If you just even criticize what the Israeli government is doing, you disagree with what Netanyahu is doing, and the next thing you know, that's it. Nobody wants to be friends with someone where they have to walk around on eggshells around them. No one wants to be friends with somebody where they have to sit here and say, I better be careful what I say before they have their finger pointed in my face too. And I'm being accused of being something that I'm not. And the next thing you know, there goes my scholarship. There goes my future interview. There goes my future job. I am ostracized, and they continue to go on. That's the reality, folks. Nobody wants to be in that situation, okay? And if people feel like they got a tippity-tiptoe around you all the damn time, guess what? People ain't really going to want to be around you. And if you're supporting what they are doing in Gaza, they damn sure don't need to embrace you at all. In fact, I would get as far away from you as possible. As possible.
You lose me there, Nadine.
The only way that we can effectively prevent these tragedies and these catastrophes is try to engage with those people who have been perpetrators. I think that even a war criminal should be admitted to campus for purposes of truth-seeking, for purposes of trying to prevent genocide in the future. And I don't believe that the effective way to do it is to shun, shame, or ostracize.
I'm asking you, Cornell, do you feel that those students are obliged to be inclusive of child killers? I'm curious, because I know you're very inclusive. Maybe your tent stretches from here to the other side of the galaxy. Do you believe that they should be inclusive of child killers?
Yeah, that's a hell of a way of characterizing it, though, because you see, part of the problem here, brother, is that, I mean, the history of religions, which has been for the most part the history of barbarism in terms of institutional religions, they have specialized in shunning people. And once you begin to shun, then the next step is dehumanization, subjugation, and you're just redoing the same cycle that you yourself were resisting from the very beginning.
No. Let's go back. Because Dr. West, I think, look, I have a lot of respect for Dr. West, but I think Dr. West want to love everybody.
In terms of institutional religions, they have specialized in shunning people. And once you begin to shun, then the next step is dehumanization, subjugation, and you're just redoing the same cycle that you yourself were resisting.
No. Because we're not in a position of power. See, that's the thing. Dr. West, I sincerely, and again, like I said, I have a lot of respect for Dr. West, but I think that Dr. West wants to love everybody, and everybody can't be loved. Everybody can't be embraced. Listen, I've lived in different places. I've been around different types of people my whole life. And in some places where I have lived, everybody couldn't be loved. Everybody couldn't be embraced. Some people you had to avoid, right? So like, I'm not going to open my arms to, for example, shunning and embracing. You're not going to open your arms to someone that you know is a stone cold killer because they might kill you. It's things like that. So you can't, the part here where he says that you're going to end up being just like them. No, because we're not in a position of power. They were able to do that because they're in a position of power. We have no power. We have no power. The other kids, they have no power. The black kids damn sure ain't got no power. Black people in this country damn sure ain't got no power. We are not in a position of power. Our country is giving $3.8 billion to Israel. Israel is telling our politicians what to do, who they should and should not vote for. Israel has organizations in the United States that is trying to get certain people in seats and get other people out. They have been able to physically remove politicians. They are in a position of power. We are not in a position of power. So when it comes to the dehumanization, the dehumanization mainly comes from people who are in power, not those of us that are not. Let's let it continue here. Oh.
From the very beginning. If we shunned every American who supported the extermination of indigenous people, there's not a whole lot of folk left in the history of the television. If we shun the majority of Americans who supported enslavement.
Nobody is saying to exterminate them, though. Nobody is saying that the people had, no one is saying exterminate them. That's not, I think he's taking this to a whole different level. What people are saying is we don't have to embrace people who are pro-genocide, and you shouldn't. We don't have to embrace people who are sitting up here saying it's okay that these kids are being killed. We don't have to embrace people who are sitting up here saying it's okay that these kids are starving because they're not Israeli and because they're Palestinian, that they're dehumanized. We don't have to embrace people who are doing those things, because guess what? If they say that and feel that way about the Palestinians, how do you think they feel about you? Think about this for a second. How do we think they feel about, I already know how they feel about black people. If they saying that about them, how do you think they feel about us? The moment we don't get on board with their supremacist project, they'll do the same to us. So no, this is not to people. No. Again, Dr. West, you can't love and embrace everybody. Some people, guess what? Some people are just evil. And this is just something I've learned with life. Not everybody can be loved. Not everybody, you can't give a hug to everybody. You can't shake everybody's hand. Some people you just got to walk away from. Let's let it finish here.
Black people, the lynching of black people, Jim Crow and Jane Crow, who's left? That's a small group.
No, this is a rhetorical evasion.
No, it's not. I'm speaking directly to your question. I'm just not agreeing with you.
Would you cavort and carouse? Would you cavort and carouse with a child killer? I'm curious. I don't think that's a trivial question.
No.
You wouldn't.
No. That's like no.
You would shun them, correct?
I would do more than shun, brother. I'd probably cuss them out and lose my Holy Ghost and kick their behind in the name of Jesus. But the point is, that's not normative. That's not the only model that I want everybody to proceed. I want to love my way through the darkness. I don't believe in shunning, even given the crimes that people commit. If you got a different view, that's cool. I'm with you. We in the same demonstrations. We go to jail together, and we have fascinating conversations on child killers and how do you respond to child killers. That's all. Is that direct?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
Dr. Wes, it's like some people you just can't open the door to. There are some people where you can open that door, and then there are others where you have to shut the door in their face. And there's nothing wrong with that. But as long as I see it this way, if you are choosing to embrace them or open your arms to them, why would they think that what they're doing is wrong? I mean, it just, I have no sympathy. I just don't. I have no sympathy, because my whole thing is, again, they are trying to make themselves look like the victim, when in the reality, they're not. Hell, not in this country and not in their country. We have made a terrible mistake. And I've talked about this before. We have made a terrible mistake, particularly in this country, and also seems like in the world globally, where this idea of the white minority has become, is supposed to be the most victimized group in the world. And that's not the case. And we can't forget that. We can't sit up here and forget what we went through in this country. We can't forget what Black people have gone through in this country. We can't forget what has happened to Africans in the Congo, in Sierra Leone. We can't forget. And we can't forget who provided the ships to get these things done. We can't forget who had the tools, the resources to help these things get accomplished. So the problem that we have is that, I get it, you know, Dr. West, a Christian, I understand, I get it. I grew up in the church too. But at the same time, like, you supposed to, they have to change their ways first. It's just like when Fred Hampton, when he decided to, let's organize with the young patriots, let's organize with the young lords, he told the young patriots they had to denounce their racism first. And not everybody that was a part of it agreed with it. JP and I were talking about this earlier. Not everybody that was a part of the Young Patriots were okay with that, so they left. And not everybody that was part of the Black Panthers even wanted to have this coalition, so they left. All right, it is what it is. But the point that was made clear is that Fred Hampton told them, you have to denounce your racism if we're going to work together for some type of class solidarity, because I'm not going to sit up here and organize with someone who doesn't even like my very existence because of the color of my skin. I feel the same way about this. You cannot sit up there and open your arms to embrace these peeps who are okay with the genocide, who applauded, and you're not supposed to feel sorry for them because they feel shunned or excluded or whatever. They have to denounce their genocidal ways first. They have to denounce their genocidal supremacist ways first. Because there are plenty of anti-Zionist allies that have been out there protesting and are calling it out and have been calling it out since day one. But all the other Zionists who still applauding the genocide, that is not someone you open the door to. You shut the door in their face until they denounce that. That's how I see it. Everybody can't be loved. Again, I have a lot of respect for Dr. West, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe it's a generational thing. I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit more radical, but I ain't opening my arms to everybody. And some people don't like it when I say that, but that's the reality. Listen, I've had many experiences in my life, and I know from experience, I'm not opening my arms to everybody. You got to prove yourself to me. This is how people end up running with the devil. They just put the thumb up and say, okay, let's just go for it. Let's go do it. And you don't know what you're getting yourself into. And then you get in some situation, these people don't even want you around. Now you might lose your life. Don't even know what's happening. You got to prove yourself to me. You have to prove that you are an ally. So I learned from the past, you can't just link arms with any and everybody. You can't. They got me all worked up. I said everybody. I said everybody instead of everybody. Dr. West got me worked up. No, Dr. West, no, you can't be putting people in these types of situations, man. People got to prove themselves. It's a different day. Different day. Oh, man. Yikes. Hey, guys, this was a Sabby clip. If you like what you saw, hit that like button and subscribe.